And today's subject, again, is fans, fandoms, and coming together. So fans and fandoms, what do you think about the anime fandom in general?
Okay, let me start by saying when I was just out of college and I was first introduced to the anime fandom, it was so beautiful for me to see that everyone that maybe feel a little different in their everyday lives could come together and have a place where they connected with one another, they fit in, they were able to just enjoy being alive and themselves in a place where they could communicate and talk and share and dress up and put makeup on or not. Like everyone fit, everyone was welcomed, and that was so beautiful to witness.
You like the setting that like everyone just kind of set it aside and united around a certain thing, which was neat, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did you ever attend any conventions when you were voice acting?
Yes, and that's where I found out that, wow, this beautiful community has come together with all kinds of diversity of thought, of the way they look. Everything has just come together in a beautiful melting pot where everyone fits. And it was just really beautiful to witness that. They were just so interested in the shows. They were interested in meeting each other and seeing friends that they haven't seen in a while. It was lovely.
And well, we're going to continue on going into the next section, kind of current events with COVID and everything, locking down conventions. A lot of the, like SoonerCon was a convention I was actually got permission to go to by my wife, Norman. And that got shut down because of COVID restrictions and everything was locking down at the time. And now everything's kind of trying to get back to normal slowly and responsibly.
Right.
There is a SAC Anime Con that started today going into Sunday. And it featured 4 voice actors. So kind of the backlash with SAC Anime right now is they are hosting it at a site that is a vaccination site. That vaccination site was actually going to close for Good Friday and Easter weekend.
Oh, okay, wait. So the Vax site was already going to be shut down. It was already closing. And then the anime convention was like, hey, let's use this site. Okay, that makes sense.
The 4 actors that agreed to go started getting really mean messages sent towards them, kind of finger wagged at them like, you're shutting down a site. I was due for my 28th day vaccination.
What?
Yes. So going into some of the feedback I have seen, one person tweeted, to be honest, all of these voice actors should be named and ashamed for choosing to be a guest at SAC Anime. Swap meet being a part of an event that's causing a vaccine center to shut down for the weekend is fundamentally so wrong, and you know it. Has 240 likes and 140 retweets. One of the top comments after that was attacking one of the voice actors. Blah, blah, blah. Attended Anime Dallas as well. I like their VA work a lot, but I've been disappointed with how they've been handling this pandemic.
Wait, let me ask a question here.
Go ahead.
Why does anyone have an opinion about how someone handles their own life?
They shouldn't.
I mean, the way you handle your pandemic life versus how I handle mine, why are you judging me?
Stuff went down with you on January. A lot of people were just saying, like, you're an anti-vaxxer, you're this and that. And I would counter back, where did she say that?
No.
And also, how is that any of your business?
Right? Because, so now we're hitting on just something that medical wise, that is, we should all have private medical records.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact, I mean, no one is going to know if I get a vaccine or not, period.
It's none of their business.
No.
Honestly.
No. So I don't understand where someone would have the gall to be like, well, I'm disappointed with how she's been handling this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, that makes no sense, right, Curtis?
It doesn't make sense. And they did not pick the venue.
Yeah, they didn't create this venue. They didn't create the convention. They're actors doing it that said yes to doing a job. They probably, here's the thing, they probably had no idea it is a vaccination site to begin with. They're just like, okay, yeah, let me know where it is. I'll show up. I will do my thing. And then we'll go home.
Because at that time, too, it probably was not even a vaccination site. It was just a convention center. It was just
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, there's some juice right here. Let's drink our tea and enjoy ourselves.
Well, you know, like a lot of the NBA arenas are becoming vaccination centers. Years ago, you'd never think that was a medical center or anything to do a vaccination. So if you're planning ahead 9 months, 4 months, or however time you have to give the city, you don't know. And
as an actor, I am used to, you tell me what you want me to do. You tell me where to go, what do you want me to wear? Like, I don't know. Like, you just tell me. My agent just tells me, okay, this is the plan. This is where you're going. And I'm not going to be like, okay, well, first of all, is it a vaccination site? Am I shutting something down? That would never even enter my brain that I would be at a place that I was shutting down.
Going back to the culture of fandoms, especially, I'd say 2000s, 2003s to the 2008s, I think it was very much how you described. Very inclusive, very open. The toxicity of it just kind of went downhill in the anime communities, I think.
You think now? Well, what I'm sad about is that there's only, it seems like some voices are being left out of the conversation. Some voices are lecturing, you must do this, you must feel ashamed for this, blah, blah, blah. And then some of the other people are like, wait, what? Maybe I don't agree with all of that. Maybe I agree with some of that. But I shouldn't be kicked out of this beautiful community just because maybe I don't agree with everything that you're lecturing me on.
Or finger whack. You know, the entitlement to tell someone you're thinking the wrong thing, you need to be educated, or you need to be muzzled on your thought.
Where did that come from? That's what I want to know.
Definitely comes from political ideology. I think we've been just divided more and more as a country from the 2010s onward. It's just snowballed out of control. What would you say to that?
I could see that. I mean, because it's almost like your politics is your religion and your identity. So, so then the rejection, like if you don't believe the same thing that I believe, this is who I am, then you're rejecting me, and now I'm going to reject you. And just the rage that people, they're not reading things and taking into context the whole truth. Like, you must read and understand before we attack. Like right now, it just seems like I don't think I like that. I'm going to attack you.
And I think we need to take a step back and not attack. You can object to something.
Absolutely.
And I have no problem with Alison. I disagree with that. Here is point Y, A, B, C.
Sure.
I'm not calling you wrong.
No.
I'm not saying I don't like what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't agree with it.
Right.
It has nothing to do with tearing you down. It does
Right.
not change my opinion about you. And I think that people get so wound up with their own personal identity in everything that defines them.
Yeah.
And it feels like an affront to them when there is a differing opinion.
Maybe so. And if we could just go back to just accepting everyone for all the diversity, for the diversity of thought, for a diversity of skin color, for a diversity of sexual orientation. Like, we're all different. We all live our lives through the lens of how we were raised, our new belief systems. And guess what? Being curious about where someone else is coming from, that's where we can actually learn and grow as human beings. And that's what makes a respectful conversation when you're curious. Now, why, Curtis, do you believe in point A, B, and C? Where did you get that idea from? What made you think of it in that way? And then I can sit back and be like, interesting. No, I still think the way I think, but how fascinating that he got it that way instead of a different way.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. You nailed it right on the head much more elegantly than I did.
I'm very elegant, Curtis. So just so you know, in the future, just know I'm straight up elegant. Elegante.
When I watched Iron Man with my kids, I'm not thinking Tony Stark needs to be an Asian. I feel misrepresented or underrepresented. No, I'm looking at this man who had a come to Jesus moment, looking at the dark history of his company, and I'm just looking at the act. I think we get so caught up in what does that person believe in, what do they look like, what's between their legs, and you ignore the actions done by a character. You ignore
the story itself.
Yes, and I think companies, movie filmmakers, and storytellers are so caught up on this box has to be checked, this box has to be checked of inclusion, diversity, which is good. Diversity is good.
Yes.
Inclusion is good.
Beautiful
but if
thing.
it hinders the story and if you're shoehorning it in just to check that box, it has got to be organic.
So you are of the mindset that you would go based off of talent and ability to do the job the best way possible than just because I'm an Asian man, you don't have any Asians in this cast, you need to pick me.
Yes, I absolutely. I think the best talent should get the best roles. Kind of hitting on voice acting, the Mike Henry, who voiced Cleveland Brown from Family Guy for like 20 years, he was forced out of that role by peer pressure.
Why?
Because he is a white man voicing a African American character. Hank Azaria.
But why in the beginning? See, that's where the creators, that's so strange. Why get a white man to voice a black character in the first place? Like, I don't know. I mean, if you have a black character, then get a black character. Like, I don't get that. Like, that was weird in the very beginning.
Why wouldn't you do a casting call for a black African American voice actor?
Yeah, why would you cast a white guy for that? Like, I don't know. That's so strange.
See,
but then if he's doing a good job,
I love your thought process on that because you can specify the cast. You've seen casting calls. You know what casting calls like, what it calls for.
Right. And if you're wanting to hear the tenor and the tone a certain way, then like you need to cast for that. Like, so that, I mean, so, but then again, hey, they cast the white guy a long time ago, and they clearly liked his work. So now all of a sudden you're just gonna fire him? I don't know about that, man.
The other one, I know you grew up somewhat watching The Simpsons with me.
Oh my gosh, yes. I even had a Bart t-shirt. And then, you guys, wait, here's the tea. Here's the juiciness here. Okay. So you guys, you know how I play boy characters? My voice, I can do little boys. Oh my gosh, y'all. I was in 4th grade. I will never forget this. I was wearing the Bart t-shirt, and all of a sudden someone came up to me and said, you know, a lady does the Bart's voice, right? And I said, nuh-uh, that is not true. No. And they were like, yeah, it's a girl. And I said, I was traumatized. I was horrified. I don't know. In my little girl's brain, it didn't compute. And I was like, I'm getting rid of this shirt. I cannot, like, a girl is doing a boy. Like, I can't even. Cut to me now doing all the little boy voices. So I tell people, I'm like, do not tell your children that I did the voice for this and this and this, because they might become traumatized.
I bring up Simpsons, the actor.
Oh, sorry. I went on a tangent, Curtis. Sometimes I do that.
# free speech. I love your tangents.
# live your life.
Absolutely.
Okay, go.
But I bring up Simpsons because Hank Azaria, he voices quite a few characters, but one of most notably was Apu, the Indian shopkeeper at the Quickie Mart.
Oh, okay.
And the last 5 years, people just started flipping their shit over. Why is a white guy voicing an Indian guy?
Okay, and again, he was cast in that role in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to take it up at the beginning, I think.
And the identity politics has, from me, as much YouTube videos and crap that I listen to during the day just to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
It is absolutely impressive, the mental gymnastics that people will go through. And if you are honestly offended, that's fine. I just don't understand how things that have been around for 20, 30 years just kind of magically overnight pitchforks and torches over something. That really baffles me to this day.
Well, and sometimes things do need to change. So, you know, women in the workforce, like, we deserve to make the same amount that men deserve. Like, I mean, things do need to change, but when you're doing it in an aggressive, disrespectful, attacking manner, like, can we be logical? Can we just share facts and say, I deserve, this is why, because this and this, like, I deserve to make as much as this. Now, maybe being a little bit louder though and stubborn will push your agenda to the forefront, and that's fine. But when you're just trying to hurt someone, that's where I'm out. Like, let's do this professionally. And respectfully.
So the change you brought up too, equal pay for women. Well, that is harmful to women. That is harming someone. I think an actor that's white voicing a black character though is that really hurting anyone? Is that oppressing millions of people?
It's not giving the Indian culture a time to show their accents and stuff like that. And I go back to the creator. What the hell, folks? Why didn't you put an Indian actor in there in the very beginning?
Why didn't you do a casting call for that? You're right.
Yeah.
I think your point makes a lot of sense. Why didn't they, during the casting part, do casting calls for those type of accents, representation and stuff?
Yeah. I don't get it.
The fandoms used to be really united. We used to be able to set aside so much stuff and ignore differences. And I think it's really sad that can't happen anymore. I think it does.
What saddens my heart is that there is a group of people that do not have anyone they can listen to or look up to that is saying things that they believe in. There's only one tiny area right now that is deemed appropriate to listen to their lectures and their thoughts. Whereas where are the people that are more moderate or are just loving of all types of people? Those voices are not being heard as much. It feels like that.
So with all this said, we're kind of hitting at is, I think a lot of the moderate common sense voices don't have that voice. And Alison and I...
Oh wait, are you sharing it? Is this the moment?
This is the magic moment.
Okay.
So I have been wanting to do a spin-off podcast for a long time. And what would you think about maybe doing a moderate to conservative podcast where we're not attacking anyone, we're not finger pointing, but we come up with constructive solutions. We give a counter narrative to what's being said. A lot of the things that I do see on Twitter, and I think you could agree, is like, where's the other side to that?
Yes.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying your point of view is wrong, but there's other... You can look at a piece of medium and come out...
This is the perfect segue into the name.
So, I think there is a counterpoint to a lot... Oh, we said it! So, Alison and I decided to start a podcast called The Counterpoint, or The Counterpoint Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Guys, Counterpoint is going to be super exciting because what we're going to do is we're going to get these tweets that we find or anything in the mainstream media that we're like, wait a second, is there a different way to look at that? Is there another lens that we could view this through? And then we're going to do some research and we're going to come up with a counterpoint. So you're going to have two different ways to look at things. You're going to have this way, and then you're going to have what we found via research and our belief systems. So it's not just going to be, you're not going to have one group of people to listen to anymore. You've got Curtis and Alison now. We're here for you. And guess what? We want you to tweet us. We want you to email and let us know if you found anything that you think is interesting that we should research and discuss, because we'd like this to be interactive, and we really, really want everyone to have a voice because we all deserve to be heard in a respectful, loving, kind way. Right, Curtis?
Yeah, absolutely. That was beautifully done.
Thank you.
But going on from there, I think that is definitely a constructive way forward. I think a lot of us don't feel heard. And the more weeks that went by ever since you first appeared on the podcast, I'd send you a message like, I'm really feeling emboldened about this. I think we really need to think about this. And I kept telling you, think about it, pray about it. And I was like, I'm thinking, ...
Still thinking. But then I figured out my heart broke at one point because I felt so deeply that there are some fans and some friends out there that are not getting a counterpoint to things. And the whole world of anime and just everything was so inclusive and beautiful that Curtis and I want to bring a little bit of that back.
Mm-hmm.
We want everyone to be heard.
Where the point was, you finally snapped, like, this is something we've got to do.
When you were called a white, privileged male.
Mm-hmm.
number one, you're not white.
No.
You're Asian.
Mm-hmm.
And the media is telling us that there is so much Asian hate. And yet you were being called a white, patriarchal, privileged male.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need some facts, okay? We need to get some facts going. That's what broke me. And I thought, okay, Curtis and I need to have a counterpoint where we can share facts, other kinds of facts that we've learned. First of all, you're Asian. That's a fact. And I'm not a boy.
Yeah.
I'm a woman. Just in case anybody thought I was an actual little boy. I am not. So let's get some counterpoints. That's my counterpoint. I am a lady.
Mm-hmm. We are both very excited about this project.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it for weeks now, and I'm so grateful for you to jump on board.
It's going to be great. And so do we want to tell them what our first topic is going to be, or do we want to make that a surprise?
No, let's jump right into it.
All right, go ahead.
We're definitely going to be talking about the Stop the Asian Hate movement that's been trending. Yeah. I think there's a lot of misconception about that. And I personally just want to kind of push back on that narrative because I live in one of the reddest states.
Yeah, you're in Oklahoma. You're in cowboy country.
Mm-hmm. And it's not ridiculous. I'm sure there is, but the way that's been just injected in from wall to wall coverage.
Okay, so you guys, get ready, get excited. That's what we're going to be talking about. If we've got some Asian friends out there, please bring to our attention. If you want to discuss this with us, go ahead. Like, we're here to discuss. We don't bite. We don't bite. We love you. I'm going to give you such a big hug that it might hurt, but that's it. But if you don't want to be touched, I understand, and I won't touch you. But I'll just give you a virtual hug. How about that?
And that, I really enjoyed this discussion on fandoms and trying to come together. I do want to hit on what could we do to kind of go back to that inclusivity. What could we do in our own households? What can
acceptance. Just accept. People are on their own journey. And they may not be where you are politically or emotionally or physically, but that's okay.
That is okay.
And resiliency. We need to teach resiliency. If you get knocked down, get back up. Because there is going to be somebody, you are going to learn from that experience, and you're going to be able to bring that forward into your new growth, and you're going to be able to share your experiences, where you've been hurt, where you've been rejected, and you're going to be able to help someone.
Absolutely.
That's my 2 cents. Okay, you're welcome. I don't know if that helped.
No, that was wonderful. And with that wrapped up, we are going to sign off on the Sunday Anime Chat podcast. And we will catch you in 2 weeks with the first episode of Counterpoint.
Counterpoint, here we come. Oh my gosh, you guys. I love you guys, and thank you for listening.